You've conquered Red. You've mastered Blue. You've triumphed over Yellow. You've caught them all. And now, you're ready for the next step. Welcome to the world of Pokémon Gold and Silver. Tons of new Pokémon, new adventures, and worlds to explore. New badges to collect. So you've got to ask yourself, have you got what it takes? Pokémon Gold and Silver, rated E for everyone. Gotta catch 'em all. I'm on a horse.
2001. Gold and Silver were, as you most likely could have guessed, successes.
Silver version?
The sequel adventures to Red and Blue definitely proved its worth, and the expansion into the world of Pokemon was accepted and celebrated by kids the world over. I say that a lot. Except some. When Gold and Silver first came out, I was pretty resentful of it. And at that time, as with many things, kids get into a stage where stuff isn't cool anymore, it's lame, and you really hate it. Which was the case with Pokemon.
There you go, Mitch. Pokemon trading card game.
In the wake of Gold and Silver's pretty much massive success, Game Freak and Nintendo decided to do what they did with Pokemon Yellow. And during the holidays of 2001, released Gold and Silver with a special edition treatment. Anyway, by calling them Gold and Silver, two metals that are widely regarded as the top two, it seemed to be stupid to continue going higher and higher with precious stones and metals, but they did anyway, and they called it Pokémon Crystal version! Pikachu was the main box monster of the special edition in Red and Blue, and now it's Suicune, one of the three legendary beasts of Johto. Strange decision considering Suicune is part of a trio, and in no way as special as Pikachu is within the Pokemon franchise. But hey, what do I know? As expected, Crystal is a special addition to the two previous games. So they went along and fixed game sprites. Check out Raikou, Entei, and Suicune, for instance. Ooh! Making minor adjustments, and for the first time, animating the Pokemon when you encounter them. A feat many were itching to have included. Crystal is also best known for, and historic to, finally, include the option of choosing between a boy and a girl! The first ever playable girl character made her debut in Pokémon Crystal. The blue-haired spunky Chris will always be remembered and honored as the mother of all female playable characters throughout the timeline of Pokémon. Or not. You suck, Game Freak. The inventory and menu was given a more feminine touch once the female character was being played. Crystal also had a new extra storyline to go with Gold and Silver's primary story. A spooky and mysterious story that even gave you a new opening video. A story about Suicune and the unknown. Interesting, as both Pokemon had their own movie made of them. The story includes a few new characters to the game. One of them is a guy called Usain, who looks like he escaped from a circus. Anyway, he's a very serious person and battles you for his respect. Sure, he's been traveling long and hard, looking for the legendary Suicune. I'm sure Suicune wouldn't have a hard time looking for him if with what he's wearing. Anyway, Suicune makes a few prominent appearances without running away like the other legendary beasts, and you can capture it easier. Indeed, you get a clear bell after defeating Team Rocket at the radio tower instead of the Rainbow or Silver Wing, which enables you to encounter it at Tin Tower. It was also possible to head to the ruins of Alph and decipher a mystery of the unknown, which had you completing a few little puzzles and being able to capture a lot more unknown than in Gold and Silver. And is it just me, Or does each successive Pokemon game get easier and easier? Just one example is that more Grassland was added in the western route of Violet City for Crystal, allowing you to capture a Growlithe, or Growlithe, making Sprout Tower, Falconer, and Bugsy much easier to defeat. Huh, us Gold and Silver veterans had it the hard way. And we made it through. Crystal also fixed those blasted Pokegear phone calls. In Gold and Silver, there was an option where a random trainer you battled would want your phone number to call you for a rematch, which in theory is a great idea, and to make your relationship with these characters more realistic, they would call you at the most inappropriate times to tell you about their talentless Pokemon training lives. However, in Gold and Silver, the only bits of dialogue you'd get would be the same repetitive thing.
Hi, Phil.
Hello.
Good evening. How are your Pokemon doing?
Fine.
I always keep my Clefairy in top shape by going to Pokemon centers. You have to hear this. I battled a Giraffarian the other day.
No kidding.
It was easy. I had a type advantage. Bye-bye. Hi, Phil. Good evening. How are your Pokemon doing? I always keep my Nidoran in top shape by going to Pokemon centers. You have to hear this. I battled a Wooper the other day. It was easy. I had a type advantage. Bye-bye.
But in Crystal, that all would change. The trainers would still be annoying and pathetic, but more lifelike. You did calls that made much more sense, but were still pathetic.
This is Liz.
Hi.
Oh, listen. My Nidoran, it's so pretty and so awesome, but very much eek and lovely, just ravishing. Oh, too much. Hug it. Sleeping. That's right, pretty. So nice.
Okay.
Cute. Oops, look at the time. I chatted too long. I'm sorry I took too much of your time. I love chatting. Okay, I'll call you later.
How about never? There was even a radio show host in Goldenrod Radio Tower called Buena, who would let you answer questions in her game show to receive wonderful little prizes. Oh, and let's not forget about the mystery gifts. These were also a feature on Gold and Silver, but it became more well-known when Crystal came out. Remember those pointless infrared connector tops at the Game Boy Colors? Yeah, they could be used for a little event called the Mystery Gift. It was activated by talking to a mysterious little girl on the 5th floor of the Goldenrod department store. Look at that little shrimp. Then, with other games activated in the same way, you could connect the two Game Boys together using that infrared port, and there'd be an option to get gifts. What kind of gifts? Cocaine! I mean, berries, vitamins, and decorations. What? Yeah, decorations. Oh, I forgot to mention those. In all three Generation 2 games, it was possible to go into your room and actually make some use of it. In the game, it was available to have a multitude of customizable room decorations such as rugs, plants, consoles, carpets, and Pokemon dolls. It was kind of pointless, but still a fun little addition that added to the customization theme of the Pokemon games. Many other tiny changes were also prominent in this new game, such as some better graphics to the landscape. Just look at this! The burn tower is actually, what do you know, burned! How do they illustrate the burn tower in Gold and Silver? Like this. I'm glad Ho-Oh is a professional roof builder. The game also gave you a little overhead sign that appears once you reach a new city, telling you where you are. Talk about making the game easier. Woohoo! And then another new expansion called the Battle Tower. A place located just west of Olivine City for you to battle 7 really powerful computer opponents with really horrible and specific rules to follow. This serves as a frustrating but healthy way of battling with a challenge, in case many of your Pokemon got to a gigantically high level. Also, after defeating the pompous Claire, who still doesn't give you the badge, the Dragon's Den has been expanded. Well, a little. You must now travel into a big shrine-like place where Claire's Grandpappy, a Dragon user leader man, quizzes you on some battling issues. And he won't take any of your other answers unless it's the correct one. Talk about being easy. Once passed, Claire still doesn't want to give you her badge. This game needs a punch button! Sadly, we can't do that, but thankfully, Grandfather Sage Man threatens to tell Lance. And all is well afterwards. In the Japanese version of Pokemon Crystal, things were more fun. Yeah, Crystal had some very cool features which wouldn't be picked up until much later. The idea behind Crystal was, since possibly everyone and their dog has one in Japan, to make it connectable via mobile phone, where it was possible to trade and battle for many long distances. It also had the secret of Celebi. In Japan, there was a special cell phone giveaway event where you could, via cell phone adapter, receive a GS ball. Yes! The infamous ball that went nowhere in the anime! Give it to Kurt and visit Elex Forex for him, where that shrine that was virtually pointless in the English version summons a level 30 Celebi for your battling needs and becomes available to get captured. And the most interesting thing about this is, it was fully translated in English, but there was never a feature for it. Also, there was a news machine within the game, where you could read about other players' adventures within Pokemon Crystal via cell phone news. Now that's an extra layer of realism Pokemon should keep going for. Pokemon Crystal, while improving many things and glazing over Gold and Silver games, proved to Nintendo and Game Freak that they could once again make a lot of money from the same game with minor adjustments, more or less. And we all dug into it. Even though its features were cool and made a lot of impact within the gameplay of Pokemon, I think it would have been better to keep the 3-game cycle kind of at a minimum. Especially since it's more like an add-on than a new game. But that didn't stop us silly children from getting suckered into buying the same game, probably even thrice, just to have all 3 versions. Oh well. Hopefully we've all learned our lessons and know now that waiting a year or 2 for the special editions will reap the most reward, and save us a good 60 to 70 bucks. That's American dollars. Crystal was spiffy, it made improvements, and it hailed new features. Although being yourself was still impossible. One of the things I was thinking of since I was 10 but still never instigated. How slow of them. Anyway, to conclude this episode, Crystal rocks! Get it? Get it? Okay, I'm done. Oh, holy crap, Wild Raikou appeared! Am I the only one who thinks Raikou, Entei, and Suicune wear some sort of legendary masks of power? I mean, come on! Look at that. Anyway, because I'm so good at this game, Silph Corporation gave me all their Master Balls and he's mine! I know what you're thinking. What's the reason of this at the end? And why is it so important that I show you this? Simply because when I first saw Raikou in Crystal, which was back in 2001, and his cry animation, I immediately thought, hey, isn't Raikou making a lo sound? And sure enough, I still think so. I mean, look! Look at his tongue! That should have been Raikou's voice.